there's something that I feel Star Wars Hunters seasons are genuinely missing, and that is mid-season content. Now, mid-season content is something that we see in games like Call of Duty, where they release maybe like a new map, a bunch of new weapons, new operators, new arena pass, whatever, for the start of their season, and then halfway through that season they'll do like Season 1 Reloaded, which is where they then maybe add another map, some more weapons, and just give a bit of a boost to the season to get people playing in longer. And I feel like that's really something that could be done with Star Wars Hunters, because I've spoken to quite a few people over the last few seasons, and they all share a fairly similar sentiment to me, where after maybe like 4 to 6 weeks of that season they start to fall off a little bit and play a bit less, which as a result means they're spending sort of less money on the game, and that's obviously not something that we want to see, because the game needs to make money if it's going to continue. So I feel like doing some sort of mid-season content would be really beneficial for it. Now, in many ways they are obviously doing that already, because they do have these big events. In Season 1, 2 and 3 we've had the clash events between the new hunter and their sort of biggest enemy, but then this season in Season 3 we've had the sort of like Halloween kind of event. We also then had like a High Republic themed event for nearly 2 weeks, and in Season 2 we had an Imperial themed event as well, and they were really fun. They kept me going with the game for sure, but I feel like for some people they need to have sort of better content on that, not just like emotes and sort of avatars. I personally don't mind content like that. I really enjoy grinding for those, but I feel like sometimes bigger cosmetic rewards would be a lot more beneficial for that. Like with the High Republic stuff, for example, we had the Sprocket High Republic stuff in the store. I feel like if that was as a final reward for the sort of 3-part event, that would be so much more enticing, because you then had the High Republic Groz and High Republic J3 skins in the actual store for crystals. So I feel like if they did that Sprocket stuff as a free skin, since it was for credits anyway, that would have been awesome, and I felt like more people probably would have played it. Now, I'm not saying that people didn't play it, I'm sure loads of people did, but having the Sprocket skin as the final reward definitely makes it more engaging for some people, because a lot of people don't really care if they miss out on avatars and things, but something like a skin is a lot more enticing. But that as mid-season content, whilst it's good for that sort of week or a few days whilst you grind through those challenges, it's often not enough to keep people fully engaged. But right now, with the way the game's set up, if they did mid-season content, it would either be a new map, a new feature, or a new hunter, which probably isn't feasible given how big these things are. But they do obviously have things like Hutball and Escort at the moment, which are 2 major modes from the soft launch that were removed from the game at the very beginning of this year. Now, they've obviously brought Hutball back as a limited time mode several times, but I feel like they could so easily just next season maybe release Season 4 with a new hunter, Hutball as a big new game mode, and obviously start the new arena pass, and don't even drop a new map straight away for the other stuff, but then halfway through Season 4 then release a new map for things like dynamic control, power control, squad brawl, and so on, because that will then keep people coming back even later on in the season. And then the following season they could potentially then bring back Escort and then add a new Hutball map partway through, because obviously all of the game modes right now all use the exact same maps, which does make it difficult in terms of, I guess, like map creation and timing and things like that. But Escort and Hutball both use their own specific set of maps, which they may very well have quite a few of each already. Hutball has 3, I believe Escort had 2 during the soft launch, and there was seemingly a bit of a tease for a Hoth and Mustafar Escort map as well in like the launch trailer. So I feel like there is really quite a lot they could do. Obviously I would never expect to see 2 hunters in one season, especially if they're not all fully ready yet. I also then wouldn't fully expect to see 2 new maps and stuff, but maybe it doesn't have to be maps or hunters, it could be, you know, brand new features or something. But I don't know, I just feel like mid-season content, something where it's really big and exciting partway through the season, would go a very long way in terms of overall player engagement, because I just feel like if we had a season where it was 8 weeks long again, as it has been pretty standard, you know, you could have week 2 where you release the Clash event, week 4/5 you could then release like the new map, and then week 6 you could do the other sort of bigger event, and then week 8 obviously is the last week of the season where you're then starting to pump out marketing content for the next season, and you essentially just sort of rinse and repeat and stuff like that. So I feel like that could go a long way, to be honest. honest. But obviously I don't know how feasible that is for Zynga at the moment. I obviously don't know what's available to them in terms of content right now. The game was obviously in soft launch for 2.5 years, so they might have been able to get quite far ahead on things, but we will just have to wait and see ultimately. I do personally think mid-season content would be a really good thing to see in this game, and I'm really curious to see what you guys think about that as well. So do let me know in the comments, but that is it from me today. Thank you all very much for watching, and may the force be with you always.